Hey you guys, happy afternoon. It's 4 o'clock on Friday, actually. So just been quiet all this time. It's Friday. It's the Friday after Christmas, so things are still pretty quiet. I'm still technically off of work, and I have just been, I don't know if I've been following directions exactly because I feel like I was supposed to just plan and set goals, but as I've been doing that, I've also been coming up with some pretty creative ideas, and I've just kind of been leaning into them. And so, but I don't feel badly about it. So I've also been learning a ton. Today I did some more reading on Isaac, and it was very interesting to see the juxtaposition between Isaac and Rebekah, whereas both Isaac and Rebekah, God revealed a plan to them early on. Like, this is the plan, this is the promise in the case of Isaac. And to see how they took different approaches to it, right? Whereas Rebekah was waiting, watching, indecisive, Isaac was afraid. And he let the world's definitions and the world uh, thinking, I guess, like, affect how he led his life. And we see God speaking to him twice, I believe, in Genesis. In both times, he's reassuring him and reminding him of the promise that he made. Whereas we only get God speaking to Rebekah one time. We don't know if that's all that it took, but I'm gonna take what I've read and I'm gonna pretend like that's all that God. It took one time for Rebekah to get it, and maybe some prodding. But for Isaac, he just needed a little bit more support. And I think, he was afraid. He went and lied to the people when he went to Abimelech's land, and he lied and told them that Rebekah was his sister, not his wife, because he was afraid that they would kill him if they knew that that was his wife because she was so beautiful. And right before that, God had already told him, hey, I'm promising you riches, I'm promising you everything because of the promises that I made to your father. And still, that just wasn't enough to instill in him. And I think, again, we can we can critique him, we can criticize his decisions, and say he was weak and all of that. But if we all take a step back, we can see many moments in which we've been Isaac, in which we've been afraid, in which we have let what the world says dictate how we act. And so I think it was very interesting, and I was very surprised by how compassionate I was towards Isaac. Probably because we all have a little inner Isaac in us. I think I probably naturally gravitate towards Isaac than Rebekah's moves. And so it was nice to just see that, God remained with him. God, even he did the wrong thing, God fixed it to Abimelech, and had Abimelech realize, hey, this is his wife. We need to make sure, we don't touch him. We also had Abimelech being delivered, through the work that he saw through God's work that he saw through Isaac. We see Isaac toiling and working, but also receiving so much more than what he put out. And it's just a reminder, even in his mistake, God still came back and reminded him of his promise and told him, hey, don't be afraid. And to me, it's like God knowing what we need to hear, when we need to hear it. And also the fact that he could come and say, don't be afraid, shows that he's been around, he's been watching, he knows that I've been afraid. And he can come to me now and tell me and kind of diagnose me exactly the way that I needed to be diagnosed. And so, again, it's very interesting seeing the Rebekah versus the Isaac. And I don't know yet if I feel like God is saying choose one way over the other, or if he's just giving examples of ways in which I may have to work in another season. So yeah, more to come on that. But today's study was very interesting. And then after that, he led me to Isaiah 58:11, which has been a scripture that has been with me probably most of this year, at least definitely the second half of this year, right around the time of me planning for my 35th birthday this year. I kind of got stuck in Isaiah around that time. So Isaiah 58:11, clearly states that the Lord is always with you. He will satisfy you in a parched land, right? Like, no matter how much you put out, he's always going to fill you up. You're never going to be depleted. And I have taken solace in that verse, but I read up a little bit more. So I started from verse 58. Sorry, Isaiah 58, verse 10 is where I started today. And there's some direction, right? Before then, in 58:10, he shares a lot about the types of people that we are called to help, the type of people that we are called to. And he names two specific types, which is one, we are here to help those who are hungry. All right. And for me, when I hear hungry, that's not somebody who's just sitting around watching and waiting. Somebody who's hungry, they're determined. They're eagerly looking and waiting for their next thing, right? Like, you know, someone who's hungry. You've seen someone, whether they be physically hungry, literally hungry, or not, but you know when someone is hungry. Like, you can't deny it. Like, wow, like that person is like going hard. Like, they are really working towards whatever goal. They're reaching out. They're looking for things. And he says that you can offer help to the hungry, right? So we can't just say, oh, he's hungry, let me feed him. You can offer help. You can say, hey, would you like this? Right? You can offer that, but it's up to the person who's hungry to say yes or no. It's up to them to still choose to accept your help or not. That's one. The second thing is he says that we need to satisfy the afflicted, right? The afflicted are those who are oppressed, right? They might be spiritually or physically oppressed. They probably don't know the Lord. They probably don't know the peace and the grace that comes with that. And so they're not looking for it, right? And we have to, it says, satisfy the affliction, right? And by satisfying the affliction, remember, God has created us in his own image. He wants us to be like him. We are all afflicted. We have been afflicted. And in finding and seeking him and his grace, he's been able to satisfy our affliction. And we need to do the same thing to our brothers and sisters, right? Those of them who don't know God, who wants to deny him. It's not about forcing them to go to Sunday school. It's not about, making them feel guilty about not coming to church. It's not about, forcing a Bible in front of their face. That's not what God has done to us, right? He's given us the gift of grace. He's given us his love. He's given us his peace, his mercy. And we need to do the same thing with those people. It's not about, let me pay all your bills. It's not about, let me try to solve all your problems, right? He says to satisfy the afflicted. If they are oppressed, the things of the world are not the solutions to oppression. We know they are the things of God. So again, very, very, very good study. I really had a great morning, and it was just setting a good tone for the day. And now, like I said, it's 4:00, and I'm in like my what do you call it? I don't know. There's like a state. There's a part of the day when I'm not super busy. I've noticed that I just kind of want to stop, or I want to rest, or I want to take a nap, or I want to just like go do something else. And it's one thing to say, okay, you've been working for a significant amount of time, it's time to stop, right? I think that that's a realization I need to make as well. But the Holy Spirit had me praying against the spirit of sluggishness, against the spirit of, I'm going to say laziness, against the spirit of just, not doing as much as I can or should, not being as productive, I'll say that, as I can or should be, and just kind of falling into this slump, right? There's one thing to take rest. There's one thing to, move away from something and come back to it later. But it's another thing when you're not moving, you're not progressing, you're just staying busy, you're doing things, but nothing's really happening. For example, I told y'all last week that I was cleaning my room. I got one corner clean, and I keep looking at the rest of it saying, what's going on, sis? What you doing? Right? I'm working, I'm doing things, but I'm not doing the things that I need to be doing or the things that I said I was going to do. And so I'm watching for that a lot lately. And like just now, I'm ready to go and like, oh, let me just go rest. I've been at my computer for a while. But again, it's like, well, what have you actually done at your computer for a while? I've done a lot. I have. But like I said, I want to be able to hold myself more accountable. So I'm not going to go take that nap. I'm not going to go take that break. I will take a brain break. Right now, I didn't get started probably until about 12, so maybe I've been working for about 4 hours. I'm going to stop and go cooking a little bit, but I just wanted to take a break. Like I said, share with you all is a method of holding myself accountable for this. We are praying against that spirit, and not only are we praying against it, but we're watching for it, and we are going to maneuver around it, right? We're not going to just pray and wait for God to do the work. We're going to do the work too. So with all that being said, I got a second cup of coffee, which is not great, but I got a second cup of coffee, and I'm going to go watch some YouTube for a sec, and then I'm gonna get back to work, and then I'm gonna go cook, and then I'm gonna end my day. So hopefully I'll see y'all again before the end of the day. If not, then I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.